Good evening. What's going on, everybody? How was everybody's day? Hope everybody had a blessed day. I know I did. I'm tired again. I can tell you that. This cold weather's kicking my butt with my knee and my knee struggles. Hobbling around on my knee. I can hardly stand up in the kitchen. My girlfriend and I just opened up our deep fryer for the first time and made some French fries, and I had to have her finish. I couldn't stand out there, man. Knees kicking my butt. But I'm blessed I can still walk. Let's look at the positive instead of the negative, right? Quit crabbing and get into the solution. That's what I always talk about. I'm glad everybody's here tonight. I wanted to talk a little bit about depression in the holidays and how important and how critical depression and anxiety come on, and what to do, the solution, how we deal with it. I work directly with the homeless population, and, I can remember when I was homeless and how the anxiety and stress and depression felt, especially during the holidays. Um, Over 80% of Americans, just in America alone, struggle with some form of depression issue, mental health struggle. In the holidays, it's just tenfold. Um, you know, Depression, stress, anxiety are direct contribution, leading factors to increase AOD, alcohol and drug use and consumption during the holidays. Um, that feeling of being alone, relationship struggles, sticky situations, maybe with family, money struggles, um, death. Unfortunately, I hate to bring it up, but it's reality. It's life. That feeling of hopelessness, I can remember that living on the street and being homeless, and just beating myself up. That poor me attitude. I was super unhappy. I was sad and I was lost. The struggle's real, and there's less fortunate out there. And it's super important to be aware of these signs, especially when we're in recovery, and being aware of those triggers and those emotions and those feelings, those risks, those triggers. I used to numb all that pain and not to feel. And in recovery now, we have to learn a different way. Um, there's just a lot of added stress during the holidays. The solutions for me is not only to stay vigilant in my recovery, and participate, but stick to that daily routine, be of service, reach out and share, and just be honest about your feelings and your emotions and how you're feeling. Cause I can honestly say, being a little bit more depressed or feeling kind of blue during the holidays, it isn't unusual and it's pretty normal. I try not to feel that way, but I still go through it myself. It's just a struggle that I deal with. But I just don't stay stuck in those emotions nearly as long as I used to. And I just don't use over it. I share and I talk about it like I am to you guys tonight. When I go through it, I share, I just get honest and I talk about how I'm feeling. Healthy things to do is, getting plenty of rest, making sure you're sleeping, making sure you're resting and you're not overextending yourself and running yourself ragged during the holidays. Overextending yourself and promising too much to other people can add to that stress and can add to that anxiety. Use the virtual support network. This virtual support network is a beautiful thing, and it just keeps growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It literally leaves us with no excuse except pure laziness not to reach out and ask for help, because it's here 24/7, no matter where you're at in the world, it's here. The virtual support is here, and it's an amazing thing. You can use friends, family, loved ones, sponsors, mentors, anyone that loves and understands you, it's so much easier to reach out and be honest with someone and let them know that you're struggling, that you're not feeling it. You're going through something no matter what it is. We can be placed in risky situations during the holidays that we have to be aware of with family, friends, Christmas parties, because there's usually some form of alcohol and or using going on at some of these parties. And you have to make a decision whether you want to place yourself in that situation or you don't. You got to set those healthy boundaries, and only you can do that. I personally don't choose to put myself in those situations. But if you do, have an exit strategy, have a way out, make a plan. You got to look out for yourself and keep your recovery and yourself number one, or you risk losing everything if you don't. I just simply try not to put myself in those high risk situations. And when I feel uncomfortable, I leave. I've done it before. I've put myself in a situation once and was uncomfortable, and I removed myself from it nearly immediately because I wasn't ready and I wasn't comfortable with the situation. So I have to be able to say no. It's okay to say no, and set that healthy boundary. And the people that love you and understand you and know what you're dealing with are going to understand. And if they don't, okay, that's on them. You got to look out for yourself and keep yourself number one and set your priorities. There's going to be principle before personality issues at parties and things like that. For me personally, I try to just set differences aside. I'm going to run into people my entire life that I don't care for or disagree with. That's just normal. That's just a part of life. People are going to like me personally, and there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't like me, and that's okay. It's just that principles before personalities. I'm pretty thick skinned. I can let things roll off my shoulders pretty easy. Just try to stay positive. Keep that attitude of gratitude during the holiday, no matter what the situation is. Not even the holidays, just in life general. Having that attitude of gratitude and remaining positive and getting out of that stinking thinking is huge. It really is. And just no matter what, don't pick up. Keep that focus on yourself and your priorities on you and your recovery, and everything's going to be good. It's going to be so much easier just to share and talk about your struggles, to get through, that depression and then that anxiety and that added stress that the holidays, for me, I know always bring on. Just don't get stuck in your head. I know in my head that's a dangerous place to be in. It's a dangerous playground. That's just a bad avenue to go down. Just don't get stuck in your head and reach out and talk to someone. That's absolutely the best thing I've ever done in my life, was to be honest with someone else and to share about what's going on with me and how I'm feeling. I want to thank everyone that's here listening tonight. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in and listening. Please share this. Share. The more we share, hopefully the more we reach and help. I'm going to have an awesome speaker on tomorrow night, guys, at 8:00. I hope you guys can tune in. Hopefully we can stay live for an hour or so and hear an amazing testimony from a gentleman that I highly look up to. He's a true inspiration in the recovery world here in this area. And I'm excited to have him on. He's my first speaker. It's going to be a fun night. So tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern, I hope you guys can be here and tune in. You guys can all hear Ronnie V's testimony. It's going to be good stuff. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm going to relax and practice a little self-care. I was going to finish eating some French fries, but Addie ate them all. It's all her fault. I'm building a resentment. I'm looking at her staring right now, and she's smacking me. She ate all my French fries, guys. What the hell? It's all good. I love you guys. I hope everybody has a good night. We'll talk to you later. Night.